Freedom. Freedom 99.5 FM. This is Freedom Global News. This is Freedom Global News.
Federal government and ASU failed to reach out of court settlement. House of Representatives approved 1.7 trillion for fuel subsidy. Kano pensioners seek monthly deduction review. And on the foreign scene, African Center for Disease Control and WHO to host regional meeting on Ebola in Uganda.
This is Freedom Global News.
Good evening. You're listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Zahra Zannah. Today is the 6th of October, 2022. And now the news in full. The lawyers for the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities today told the Court of Appeal that both parties could not resolve the 8-month-old strike, despite the out-of-court settlement as advised by the appellate court. The FG's lawyer, James Igwe, and lead counsel for ASU, Femi Falana, told the Court of Appeal that despite the admonition, they could not resolve the dispute. The presiding judge, Justice Hamma Barka, thereafter stepped down the matter for an hour to enable the counsel for ASU, Falana, to file a reply to the counter-affidavit deposed to by the federal government in opposition to the hearing of the appeal. At the resumption of the hearing, Falana said they had begun consultations which will continue at the end of the day's proceedings. He suggested that the application challenging the ruling of the industrial court be heard by the 3-man panel of the appeal court. Both parties agreed that the court should hear the application, as there was no amicable resolution reached as advised by the court. ASU is also set to sue the federal government over the registration of the Congress of Nigerian Universities Academics and the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics. House of Representatives today approved 1.7 trillion as subsidy for fuel in 2023, an amount which is at variance with the 3.6 trillion naira approved by the Senate on Wednesday. This followed the consideration and approval of the report of the House Committee on Finance, which worked on the 2023 medium-term expenditure framework, MTF fiscal strategy paper, as presented by Deputy Chairman of the committee, Saidu Musa Abdullahi. Although the Senate Joint Committee on Finance and National Planning and Economic Affairs, which worked on the fiscal document, had recommended that the cost of petroleum subsidy be capped at 1.7 trillion naira in 2023, the Red Chamber, during consideration of the report, upheld 3.6 trillion naira for subsidy as originally proposed by President Muhammadu Buhari. The House said capping the cost of petroleum subsidy at 1.7 in 2023 will enable the federal government to save the sum of 737,206,443,151 naira, which is said to be used to reduce the fiscal deficit of 11.3 trillion to 10.56 trillion naira. It also approved new borrowings of 8.437 trillion, including foreign and domestic borrowing, subject to the provision of details of the borrowing plan to the National Assembly. Female genital mutilation, FGM, remains widespread in Nigeria with an estimated 19.9 million survivors. Nigeria accounts for the third highest number of women and girls who have undergone FGM worldwide. Female genital mutilation is a performed on girls or women to alter or injure their genitalia for non-medical reasons, which is a violation of girls' or women's fundamental human rights. Correspondent Bara'atu Idris Garkoa takes a look at the severity of the issue and files in this report.
Female genital mutilation, which is far from often as a ritual and unnecessary and potentially dangerous mutilation, which results in various complications. In many communities that practice genital mutilation, they believe that it ensures girls' future marriage or family honor. According to medical experts, female genital mutilation has no health benefits. Freedom Radio interviewed some Kano residents on their opinion on female genital mutilations.
No, we don't practice uvular excision and female genital mutilation.
Of course, yes, we practice female genital mutilation and uvulectomy because in our tribe it elevates their bride price. We can't compare the women that are not mutilated and the ones that are mutilated. So we practice.
Dr. Mahmoud Kawu Magashi, a gynecologist at Amine Kano Teaching Hospital, said female genital mutilation or female genital cutting has many complications.
There are so many complications, ranging from hemorrhage, that is excessive bleeding from the site of the cutting or from the site of the mutilation, that may at times warrant transfusing the affected, the victim. At times it may even lead to the loss of life because of the excessive bleeding. Another thing is by cutting, you are creating a wound. Creating a wound is like removing the barrier that may allow microorganisms to enter, and that may lead to infection.
According to the expert, female genital mutilation has proven to be detrimental to the life of the victims, which has links to severe health risks and deaths. Freedom Radio.
The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, is to release terms of reference and job description for the Interim Management Committee, IMC, a body he set up recently to manage the Nigerian Professional Football League. Muhammad Sani Uba has details of this and other sports updates.
The Minister of Youth and Sport Development, Sunday Dare, has shut down the League Management Company, LMC, headed by former board member of the Nigeria Football Federation, Shehu Dikko, and set up the Interim Management Committee, IMC. He claimed that the decision was the government's last resort to salvage the country's football, while former Director General in the Sport Ministry, Benga Elegbele, is chairman of the new IMC. A veteran journalist and football administrator, Paul Basi, is the vice chairman. Former Super Eagles and Enugu Rangers striker Davison Omi is the head of operations, with Olumide Bamidoro as the secretary. Other members of the IMC include Kule Sonem, Daniel Amokachi, Calvin Emeka Onka, Aliu Adam, a representative of the NFF, representative of the Nigeria Police Force, and Club Honest Chairman Barrister Ladi Ibrahim. In another update, former Vice President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Barrister Sheyi Akinwumi, has declared his continued support for football and youth development despite his failed bid to win the Federation's presidential election. Akinwumi came second behind winner Ibrahim Musa Gusau in the NFF elections held in Benin City on September 30. Meanwhile, the Super Falcons of Nigeria fell a 2-0 defeat against Japan in their friendly encounter at the Nove Stadium, Kobe, today. Japan dominated the game from the start, but goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozi made a number of good saves to deny the Disheko. Similarly, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have dropped 32 from 31 in the latest World Governing Body FIFA ranking released today. Senegal, Morocco and Tunisia are the three teams ahead of Nigeria in the ranking. Two-time African champions Algeria completed the top 5 teams on the continent. And on tennis, Britain's Dan Evans is out of the Japan Open after missing 6 match points in his second round match with the Serbia's Miomir Kacinovic. Muhammad Sanuba, Freedom Radio.
Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the link to the page. Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. The Nigerian Union of Pensioners, Kano Branch, their pension. The Nigerian Union of Pensioners National Secretariat representative, who's the Deputy General Secretary, Comrade Ahmed Ghazali, stated this today during a peaceful protest at Kano State Government House. He said they at the State Government House to inform the governor of the situation, as he may not be aware. In his remark, the governor of Kano, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, represented by the state head of service, Usman Bala, said the government will look at the situation and come up with solutions to the problem.
That His Excellency, the Governor of Kano State, shares your passion and your dream, and he will do everything possible to ensure that he brought out pensioners from the current state of malaise that they are facing. Let me tell you, by the time this report reaches His Excellency, which we had wanted to reach him before even your demand was put forward today, there are a variety of options which the government, I definitely know, will take to ensure that the 16 billion naira accumulated gratuity arrears is actually offsetted within the last part of this administration. God willing.
Correspondent Zahra Zannah reports that the event was attended by the chairman, Nigerian Labour Congress, Kano branch. World Health Organization says obesity is an abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a risk to an individual's health. In Nigeria, people believe it's impossible to be obese, but obesity can affect anybody, whether child or adult. Amina Mukhtar Yakasi takes a look at the issue and files in this report.
Many people believe that the amount of fat in the body is only determined by what one eats and how much they exercise. In Nigeria, the most affected group are adults due to their sedentary lifestyle, which includes poor dietary habits through the consumption of refined sugars like ice cream, sweets, and fizzy drinks. Consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages, especially carbonated drinks, which have high sugar content and no nutritional value, and have a calorie-dense diet, which includes excess carbohydrates without nutritional supplements, combined with a lack of exercising, can cause extreme obesity. A doctor at Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, Professor Isa Sadiq Abubakar, sheds more light on the causes of obesity.
Obesity is a complex condition in which one eats too much and is not exercising adequately, as a result of which accumulation of a lot of calories occurs and one becomes excessively fat. It is a situation that leads to more serious health conditions like heart disease, hypertension. Diabetes of obesity usually involves backache and joint pains, excessive sweating, and depression. The causes of obesity will include genetic factors. Certain people just inherit it from their parent, and then some people who are into junk foods, for example, sugar-sweetened beverages and minerals, what we call, and then calories accumulate and the body stores excess of fat in the body, and then obesity results.
The state coordinator for nutrition activities in Kano State for women and at the Kano State Ministry of Health, Halima Musaya Kasei shares preventive measures against obesity.
How to prevent this obesity? Eating more of the vegetables, which can easily be digestible. Then eating more fruits, eating less protein content. Avoid taking much sugary drinks. Avoid taking too much of carbohydrates. Reduce high intake of fats. Then lastly, a person or an individual that is having obesity has to take the measure of regular physical exercise and avoid taking red meat and other aspects of carbohydrates.
According to experts, the government can play a vital role in shaping healthy environments and making healthier diet options affordable and easily accessible. This is particularly important for the most vulnerable in the society, the poor and the children, who have limited choices about the food they eat and the environment in which they live. Amina Mukhtar Yakase, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention says Uganda will host a ministerial meeting next week on the Ebola virus outbreak, which has caused alarm in the East African region. Hawa Adam Kiawa reports.
The acting director, Ahmed Ogwell, told Newsmen today that the 3 countries that suffered the devastating West African outbreak of Ebola in 2014 and 2016, Sierra Leone, Guinea and Liberia, had also been invited to the October 12th meeting. The current Ebola outbreak in central Uganda has a 69% case death rate, which Ogwell called very high, and 4 health workers among 10 people confirmed to have died of Ebola. There have been 43 confirmed cases. None have been in the capital, Kampala. The outbreak has been attributed to the Sudan strain of the Ebola virus, which has no proven vaccine. The World Health Organization representative to Uganda told Newsmen today that Ugandan scientists and their partners abroad are looking to deploy one of 2 possible vaccines against the Sudan strain. Meanwhile, a global alert has been issued over 4 cough syrups after the World Health Organization warned they could be linked to the deaths of 66 children in the Gambia. It said the syrups have been potentially linked with acute kidney injuries and 66 deaths among children. The World Health Organization added that the products were manufactured by an Indian company, Maiden Pharmaceuticals, which had failed to provide guarantees about their safety. The firm has not yet commented. Hawa Adam Kiawa, Freedom Radio.
And with that, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team and I, Zahra Zannah, thank you for listening.